Well, let's bring in Phar Kim Beng, who is the founder, CEO of the strategic Pan-Indo-Pacific arena. Well, after 3 days now, do we know more about what ASEAN stands for in terms of issues like China and Myanmar?
Essentially, ASEAN stands for defensive diplomacy. And what is meant by defensive diplomacy is enlisting all the responsible stakeholders in and across the region writ large, whether you call it Indo-Pacific or Asia-Pacific. That's what ASEAN normally wants, to have all of them coming to the ASEAN summit, followed by the ASEAN or East Asian summit, which is organized by ASEAN. And in between, you also have ASEAN-India summit or ASEAN-South Korea summit, and in fact, ASEAN-United Nations summit. So this is a very packed diplomatic event. It's usually held at the end of November or early December, but precisely because the Indonesian presidential election is coming up next February, they have to have it in September. So allow me to recap. ASEAN wants everyone to come to the table, to have a spirit of camaraderie and address the issue, no matter how confrontational they are, in a very diplomatic manner.
Clearly, lots of talking went on at the summit, but would it be fair to say that maybe some of the more interesting conversations, some of the business that went on may have gone on the sidelines, perhaps behind the scenes?
That's an excellent question, and you're right. Usually at a summit such as this one, where you have room for sidebar meetings, the respective leaders will arrange their specific meetings, schedules, so on and so forth, in order to advance and nudge their own agenda forward, be it India, United States. Now, a lot of people are disappointed with the fact that President Biden did not show up, but then Vice President Kamala Harris came up with a rather strong package of economic assistance, verging almost on 1.2 billion US dollars. So one can't really say that the United States is not committed to the region, even though the optic doesn't look good when President of the United States is not there.
Do you think ASEAN still has a big role to play amongst those global summits that go on? We know that the G20 is coming up next.
Well, that again is a very good question, because the value of ASEAN is its ability to hold and lock into the schedule or the diary of all the regional leaders all across Asia-Pacific or Indo-Pacific. Whether it's September, November, December, everyone will show up accordingly. Now, that's a very difficult task to pull off, and this has been the tradition since 1976. In fact, ASEAN has 12 dialogue partners, of which United States, China, Russia are all involved, not excluding Japan, South Korea, India, Australia, New Zealand, United Nations, and even European Union. So this is a very massive gathering of some of the most important powers in the world. Now, having said that, compliments should also be given to Turkey for understanding the importance of this event. And from the sources of information that I have, Turkey, which is a sectoral partner of ASEAN, has sent 3 delegations in order to observe both the ASEAN summit and the East Asian summit.
Okay, Phar Kim Beng joining us live from Kuala Lumpur. Thank you.